From Times Square in the heart of New York City, welcome to All Night with Joey Reynolds. Joey's guest tonight, comedian Stewie Stone, cabaret divas, Barbara Russell, KT Sullivan, Broadway producer Addiss, and our musical guests, Jon Weber, Jay Leonhart, Blondie Chaplin with the Les Paul Trio. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Reynolds.
What is this, day 3? Have we made it so far? We have had 3 shows. Nobody thought we were going to make the first one. No, it's good. It's good to be here again. You know, at least I got some new clothes. Whenever you do a show like this, you get outfitted, you know, they give you clothes. And then they expect you to come in with some wonderful material. See, the trouble is that nobody screwed up in America today. Otherwise, I'd have a monologue. Nothing went wrong. I mean, this has been a perfect day, except if we want to complain about the weather and the usual stuff that everybody rehashes. But there's not anything really to say wrong. And, you know, when everybody minds their own business, news is scarce. There's nothing to do. We live off of gossip. I think what happened is a few years back, we started to realize as television and radio people, that we had to pay for news. See, news is north, east, west, and south. It means information coming from those 4 corners. That's how you get the word news. Now, what happens when you cover a news story is you do the what, where, when, why, and how. If you learn it in school, like I did at NYU briefly, I went to school at NYU such a long time ago. What was our tuition? I think it was $2,500 a year. That would be a long time ago. But we didn't call it broadcasting or communication or journalism. We called it radio and TV. And when I was there, we learned that you get a story, and if you didn't have those elements of what, where, when, why, and how, and you couldn't answer that, then you didn't put that thing on the air. It never made it. It never made it. It would not pass an editor. And what happened is we lost, I think the last really good newsman for going out was Dan Rather, you know, a guy who went outside. He was standing in a hurricane, you know. I mean, the guy actually went out and did the news. Not that NBC doesn't have great newsmen, we do. And the first one, John Cameron Swayze, and Chet Brinkley and Chet Huntley and David Brinkley. Now, you know, when we have these great news people who are journalists and they wrote their stories, they actually would go out and cover a story and come back and be able to tell you what happened because they were there, or at least they had that information in front of them, and it was all sanctioned. It was cleared. Everything was checked out. These days, we don't do that so much because we have given up the idea of paying for newsmen and paying for a field team, and gathering, you know, news gathering is very costly. So what we've done now these days is we've turned to gossip. And gossip has become the news. You know, when you turn the TV on now, as you are tonight, you watch mostly gossip, except for maybe a half hour of it, which is the real news. But the rest of it is essentially just who did what wrong and why and how we are and who's better than you, who's worse than you, who's not going to get whatever they want, who stole whatever that didn't belong to them. It just goes on and on with the whole list of everything negative in our society. So we feed that to the public, and we are sitting at home watching this on the television or listening on the radio, depending on what device we use, and we're waiting to get something good out of it. And instead, all we do is find that somebody is screwed up. Today was an exceptional day. It was not only a bad news day, it was a bad gossip day. And of course, for many of us, a bad hair day. And things got so slow around here that we actually have opened the Joey Reynolds, if you can pan back a little on the camera, the Joey Reynolds gift shop. The show's only 3 days old, and already the guys who produce the show are selling mugs. Now, you know, the show's not even been on the air but 3 days, and they're in the premium item business. How do these guys get into the merchandising so quick? It used to be that you'd have a hit show and then there would be a great marketplace. People would say, God, I wish I had some souvenir of this person. But these days now, with even Burger King and McDonald's, as you know, they'll tie into a film that hasn't even opened, one that's not a hit, because they want to be right on the scene with their premium item. So we got the cups on the market now, the Joey Reynolds All Night with Joey Reynolds cups. I don't know how you get them or where they're selling them, but I know that they have pulled them out of the case today. Do we have T-shirts yet? Anybody done that? You know, I have made a fortune. I had to sell the store. I had a tall men's shop in Japan. And I got rid of it. You know, it wasn't doing too well. But I think the premium business of me selling my cheesecakes, which you know I make the best cheesecake in the world. I think you know that, right? You don't know that. Well, I got a book, which is called The Best Cheesecakes. And also I have another book, which is Let a Smile Be Your Umbrella. I don't have T-shirts. I don't own the franchise on the mugs. Do we have a website yet? Have we gotten into that yet? Is anybody? Yeah? What is it? Oh, it's the same on the mug. It's on the mug here. All right, let's see. allnightwithjoeyreynolds.com. Con or com? Or con? Com. Who is sitting there masterminding my career around me? I haven't even, I didn't say it's okay. You know, you're using my name. And as Pee Wee Herman used to say, don't wear it out? Don't wear my name out? Oh, this is insane. You know, we're in a society that wants so much immediacy. We want to have the money before we do the routine. And I'll tell you where it all started. This is my own little pea brain. I figured this out one day. You know when this craziness of economy and the money flow and the franchise business started? You know the franchise part was McDonald's, right? I would say they're probably the first of the hot shots. And Ray Kroc started that little 15-cent hamburger stand in San Diego, California, and moved it on. Matter of fact, I got in trouble in Buffalo with it because when they opened the first McDonald's in Western New York, I got on the air, and Buffalo's essentially a Catholic city. And Catholics were, not now, but they were not eating meat on Friday. It was a fast day. So I figured fast foods, fast day. I got on the air, and I did the McDonald's commercial. And I said, you can go to McDonald's and have one of their hamburgers, and you won't sin because there's no meat in them. Well, you know, that was the end of that account. They went south. But anyway, back to the story. Now, Ray Kroc came up with the idea of having the 15-cent hamburger, and he had formed some sort of a simplicity and consistency. And it worked. It worked. I mean, it's a model for everybody. We have followed it many, many times. The part that he did that's really terrific was he figured out to do something no one had ever done before, which is to get the money in front. Now, you know, when you go in a restaurant, you get a bill, you pay the bill, right? And you leave a tip. McDonald's said, you give us the money in front, then you get the food. That was the beginning of this exchange program where you pay in front. And paying in front kind of gave us another kind of a society. And I guess there's no credit cards. Well, McDonald's does take credit cards, right? They do? Yes. But it's a little stupid to go in there with your MasterCard for 15 cents. Well, they're not 15 cents anymore. And what about those other things they used to sell, those fake chicken things? Wasn't that like nuggets? Was it Chicken McNuggets or something? It was almost McFood, wasn't it? It McSucked, to be honest about it. But now they're good. Now they're good. I mean, I don't mean to take anything away. We could use the sponsorship. And, you know, it's either this or Applebee's. We want you guys to be comfortable with the idea that we're not going to take shots at all the sponsors. But you see, I told you, there's no news. And there's no gossip. You got to make up something. You know, I mean, where was I going with this? I don't know what the hell I was going to do tonight. I came out here and I said, duh. But, you know, 2 hours of duh would probably be a big hit in this generation. This is generation 4. No soul. All right, we're going to take a break, and we got some great comics tonight. I'm not one of them, so I'm not copying that. I got a great guy who is a friend, Stewie Stone, who opens for Frankie Valli for a number of years, and he's exceptionally funny and a great guy. Also, you probably saw the whole guest list. We got Blondie here tonight with Lou Paulo and the Les Paul Trio, and a couple of really fine guitar players. I mean, bass players. Paul Nowinski, who played with Les for a number of years, and also Jay Leonhart, who sat in every once in a while and is on his own journey, and also was a guy who played bass for Mel Torme for a number of years. So it's really a rich night to sit here and watch this show, because you're not going to get this anywhere else. The only place you'll get this is maybe you'll get a minute and a half on YouTube. But before you have your YouTube Tide, watch this show. And this is a good one tonight. We'll be right back. It's All Night with Joey Reynolds. Can you tell? And let me encourage you to go to my site and get my mug, which I don't get a piece of because they didn't give me any of the action.
When New York celebrities have something to say, they head for the stoop.
This is my stoop. I gotta come to the stoop.
Talk Stoop.
I feel like we're so close that we could kiss. This is a whole other kind of stoop.
It's where Cat Greenleaf gets people talking.
What? Really?
Yep.
That's amazing. Yes. Listen, Naked, do you mind if I call you Naked?
Tell me something good.
The best of New York on a stoop in Brooklyn.
The celebrity butts that have graced the stoop.
Talk Stoop, weeknights at 8 on New York Nonstop. Sponsored by Cozy. Life should be delicious.
I'm an anchor and a pilot.
I am passionate about chocolate.
I am a ballerina.
I'm the daughter of a jazz musician.
I am a four-time New York Golden Glove champion.
I'm my grandpa.
Yeah, I'm a grandma.
I'm interested in the story behind the story.
I'm making this look natural.
I am glamorous.
I'm an anchor and a blues girl.
I am all about my craft.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I'm a New Yorker.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I recommend a steak.
This place is
really
I recommend this place.
We're all about New Yorkers. LX New York. It's the story of the moment. A taste of the best. It's opening night. A helping hand. The characters of New York. The spirit of New York. Told our way. LX New York. Weekdays at 5. We're all over town.
Oh, boy, you guys are in for a treat. This is not an unusual position for me. I was doing stand-up at the Iridium with Les Paul for a number of years. I actually learned a little bit from Les by humiliation. You know, that's the only way you learn. Lou Paulo is here. Lou is the Les Paul trio. He was at Fat Tuesdays when Les was there for a number of years.
12 years.
Yeah.
12 years at Fat Tuesday.
And Les, of course, is the inventor of the electric guitar. I mean, that's without a doubt.
That's right.
And when I first saw you, when we first met, I guess you heard me on the radio.
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Because we used to listen to you on the way home.
And I didn't know you guys.
No. No, you
And
didn't.
Les was listening one night, as the story goes.
That's right. Tell us the story.
And he was coming back from the Cleveland Clinic
Yes.
over at the Tappan Zee Bridge, and he had the radio on, and I was doing my show. And I had a friend named Mike Durow who invented that Durow meter, which is a VU meter that has lights on it instead of a little needle that goes over for those who are techies who watch the show. But, you know, Mike Durow meter made him a lot of money. And his avocation was to make films of great people who were inventors. And he had a warehouse in Wisconsin, very much like Les did.
Like this.
And I got into the boogie in L.A. I was in L.A., you know. And Mike Durow had me over the house, and he made this film of Les Paul. And it was never completed. So when I came here to New York years later, I'm on the air one night, and someone said, Mike Durow is here at this convention. And I said, good, put him on the phone. So I talked to Mike, and after I hung up with Mike, I said he made a great film of Les Paul. Too bad Les died.
That's right.
Well, about a half hour later, Les called.
That's right.
He said, who's the a-hole?
Exactly.
That would be me, I said. He says, I don't know you. So he came to the station the next night
Remember that.
with all of these names of every disc jockey in history. And I wasn't in that book
That's right.
because I never took payola. These are all the guys that took all the payouts. You know, they do keep records, you know.
Oh, yeah, they sure.
And I had a wonderful relationship with Les. And, you know, he's like a father to me in many ways. And the father you never wanted in other ways. But with you, you've been playing with him 25 years.
26 years.
Yeah.
26 years with him.
And you know, you never really took the spotlight. You're not a show off in any way, shape, or form. And Lou Paulo is probably the best guitarist we have in the city. Certainly the best for your kind. For your kind.
All right, thank you.
You know, let's put it there, because there are other great people like Lou Volpe, and you know, we got a lot of good friends here.
Definitely.
Al Caiola and
Al, you're my buddy.
I mean, there's a whole bunch. I don't want to slight anybody, but you're brilliant. So much so that Gibson has made a guitar, which is a Lou Paulo guitar, and Gibson is the one that puts out the Les Paul franchise.
Correct.
The same guys that do my cups.
That's true.
So now with the guitar they made for you, I met, what is it, Henry Gibson? Is that his name? Henry from Gibson?
Henry, and you want the
got a
last
Polish
name?
name. What
Cheskowitz.
Cheskowitz. Yeah. Well, I met him in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and I'd known him before with Les. But I was looking for your guitar. He had every guitar made by Gibson and no Lou guitar. There was no Lou. So I said, well, I guess you sold out, huh? Oh. Want to make him feel good. But is this the one he made? This is the Gibson? This is very beautiful. It matches my tabletop, you know.
Oh, it's a beautiful guitar.
It's great. And what an honor it is to have you here. To have you here.
Oh, well, thank you. It's
because
an honor to be here on your third show.
But Louis, you are, first of all, you're Italian.
Okay, that's right.
You know, so I gotta say, this guy is one of the few Italians that doesn't steal.
That's right. Correct.
Just joking. They're gonna get crazy with me now. You know. Now watch everybody call. What do you say about that? People get crazy with everything. No, but I love the way you play, and I know you're at the Iridium every Monday. And Ronnie's there. Ronnie's keeping the spirit of the place going.
Yes.
With his father. His father was a great inventor of clubs.
Of clubs, yes.
And you know, the Iridium used to be in the Empire Hotel in the basement.
63rd.
Yeah, and it was there for a long time. And then they took Ellen's Diner, which is on Broadway, and 50th, and they went, is it 50th?
51st.
51st. And they went downstairs there. It's right next to that bad Italian restaurant, Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia, yeah. Right.
So they have the worst meatballs. This little place, this Iridium downstairs, is so compact, but it's acoustically perfect.
It is. It is. I enjoy working there.
Yeah, I mean, the other place, at the Empire, Les used to take the masking tape off the ceiling to get air conditioning off the duct.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
But, you know, this new place now, the Iridium is great now.
It's great.
And it's a premier jazz club.
Yes, it is.
And you're there every Monday night.
Every Monday night.
And I want to give a nice plug because you deserve it. You know, you're wonderful,
much.
And everybody should know that you're keeping the Les Paul Trio together.
Right, trying to keep the legend, the Les Paul name going, the Les Paul legend.
And Paul Nowinski, who is also here. Paul's a fine bassist, and he also plays with many other people. Is it the New York
Voices?
New York Voices? That was
sometimes no.
You're with everybody. Paul is a great traveler. He's also one night came to my show on the radio with Tony Bennett's daughter.
Antonia.
And they played a Jew's harp and an accordion or something. It was a strange night. Too much vino.
I think so.
But it was a wonderful night, and thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
That was fun.
And we have here one of the all-time great artists, and I'm going to have these guys. We'll take a break first because probably have to, but I want to talk another minute here. We have Blondie here. Now, Blondie Chaplin is one of the best artists in the world. He's a great singer. And he has a background of, I don't know if you know him or not, but he's another humble guy who makes it all work. Rolling Stones, Beach Boys, you know, just to mention a couple of.
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of
Thank
people.
you.
No, thank you. I mean, it's a privilege. So tonight, see, now this is something you wouldn't ordinarily get without a long introduction. And I had to, you know, our show has the time. We can do long introductions because we're not going anywhere. You know, nobody's going anyplace here. I want to put this together on the air because I want the people who watch our show to know that there's a dignity to these gentlemen and sometimes ladies who we put on the air they have wonderful chops and backgrounds, and we take this for granted. Now, I want to say something else. I'm on a little speech here. I was talking to my daughter today. She's much younger. She's my daughter. Yes, thank you. So we were talking about the music, and I was saying how we have shifted. The radio and records used to be married, and they got divorced. And the radio business is hurting just as well as the record business. Now, there's no record business, but the radio business fell apart too. You know, I mean, for music.
Yeah.
And it's been that way because one was supporting the other. And you got to keep the game going at least.
It's true.
Now, what's not hurting is live appearances. And here on this show, I want to present people, and we're doing it, who are known for their brilliance. And so I'm going to get out of the way. These guys are going to play, and after I gave this nice intro, which I really sincerely want you to appreciate their talent, not my intro, Lou Puello, Paul Nowinski, Blondie, and here they are with no name. So you guys play, sing, have fun.
All right.
Welcome.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. That's just perfect. Charlie Chaplin wrote Smile, you know, incidentally. And Blondie is going to come over and talk to us, I hope. We got to get a couple words out of him. And Lou, I did all the talking, I just realized that. But that's why I get this kind of money, isn't it? Or my name on a cup. We're going to be right back. You're watching this channel, which is called New York Nonstop, in case you stumbled across it. And on Time Warner, it's 161. So you can watch this every night, Monday through Friday. It's on between midnight and 2. We're going to be right back. Joey Reynolds, that's my name, on All Night.
Steve, I can't get the files on the Sandos case to print. Printers are down again.
Steve, the wireless network and all the servers are completely down on the 4th floor.
That's it. Denise, I'm done with that company. Call ASAP NetSource. Also, tell them we need an on-site tech for some installs we got going on next week.
Dad, the printer isn't working again, and I have to hand in this report tomorrow morning.
And the internet's down again.
And we're out of toner, too.
I know just who to call.
Let ASAP NetSource be your only source for your office and home.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
Long Island, there's a mansion which has been restored, and they got a Charlie Chaplin room because he used to stay there as a friend. And they've got his little piano that he wrote Smile on, they say. But Smile is Blondie. What a great rendition. I mean, that's...
Oh, thank you. But it's one of my favorites. My last name is Chaplin anyway.
I know.
I'm not related, but that's one of my favorite songs to sing. And Lou's given me a perfect opportunity to croon it just with guitar and bass. It's fantastic.
Wasn't I right about Lou? Lou plays that style better than anybody.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, it's true. You know, he's modest.
Yeah, very true.
Well, when you were on the road with a lot of the wonderful rock and roll stars.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was a jock, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not an Olympic one.
I understand.
You know. And I got friendly in the early days with Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And their abusive father. He was
Murray.
pretty mean.
Yeah.
But Brian was a genius, is a genius, you know, I mean,
sure,
with the Good Vibrations, I thought was his crowning achievement for me.
It was
for
fantastic.
My own ear.
Voices and everything.
And I like everybody. I liked everybody in the group, but I remember when Glenn Campbell came in because they were short a guy. Remember when Brian didn't work anymore?
Yeah.
So Glenn came in. He was a great guitarist and a wonderful Beach Boy. I mean, we never would have thought he was going to be a big TV star.
No, and then he got into the country and, he went on to do great things.
When were you with these guys?
Between, say, 71, 74.
Yeah. Well, you stayed for a while.
Stayed for 3 years.
Yeah.
Plenty.
And how about the Stones?
I've been working with them since '97. I mean, they don't go on the road every year, but I've done about 6 tours now.
Yeah.
From '97 till now.
I got to tell you something. How long you known those guys?
Just in that time. I mean, since '97, yeah.
Well, Keith Richards has got a book, and he's been around on various shows. I was kind of hoping he'd come over here. One of these nights, you drag him over. And I'm not saying it to name
No, Lou can do that at least.
Yeah, bring him over. But I want to tell you, I met him in 1963 in London with Andrew Loog Oldham, who was a producer of the Stones.
Yes.
And I had quite an experience with them.
Yeah, well, usually you do.
I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to do it when he comes here, all right?
Yes.
Because I want to talk to you guys now.
Yes, fine.
So what's going on with you? Let me hear about you now.
Well, I just came into New York just to do just a few gigs, just because I haven't played in the city for a little while. And Lou gives me an opportunity we played last night at Iridium, and it went pretty good, so I'm hoping to come back again. And I've just finished a new album, hoping to get that out, and I want to do some recording with him and sing some of these soulful ballads, so to speak.
Oh, well, they're great. So Rod Stewart made a shift to go to.
I saw that.
Yeah, he went to Standards, or what they call a Great American Songbook. I don't know if it's American. It's International Songbook.
But I've always wanted to do stuff like that. But he's the guy that I like. It's fantastic to hook up with. To do just that.
Now, this is a guy who doesn't talk a lot.
No.
You are a guy who is very quiet.
Very quiet.
And Les would never sing or perform. You would sing the song.
Yes.
You became Mary Ford.
Yes. Well, sort of.
But you were the guy who really made the whole thing work again, because Les didn't want to play anymore, it seemed.
He followed me around for many years, many years, and to every club I worked in, and he was in retirement at that time.
Yeah.
He'd bring his guitar and sit in with me, and I said, Les, you've got to play. So I sort of really have to say that I got him out of retirement.
I didn't know that.
Then we did some concerts in New Jersey.
Really?
In other words, that he just enjoyed coming in to hear me. He was scouting me out, I think, all those years, though, to see who he wanted to work with.
Well, you're a matinee idol. The women love you.
Oh,
well,
no,
they do.
No, so
Les
anyway,
they just put up with.
Oh yes, and then he was working. We did some concerts in New Jersey on Sundays.
Yeah.
And we would work. Jimmy Dean showed up, and a lot of celebrities. Al Caiola, Bucky Pizzarelli showed up. John Pizzarelli.
I meant to mention Bucky earlier.
Oh, you meant to mention him. Yes, okay. And but anyway, Les said, well, let's go to New York and get a one night, and that's how we ended up going to Fat Tuesdays.
Well, now Paul you weren't around the Fat Tuesday days.
I started at the very end of Fat Tuesdays.
At the end of Fat Tuesdays.
Well, Paul was there for the miracle when Les picked up a check. And it was a foolish mistake on my part. He wasn't reaching for the check. He was reaching for the receipt. Yeah, I mean, how foolish of me.
That's it. Oh, yeah. Very good. You're sharp.
No, I'm not sharp.
You're okay.
So I love you guys anyway, personally. And we were talking about doing this one time. Blondie wasn't around at that time. We were having lunch when they came up with your guitar.
That's right.
Gibson came out with your guitar.
The guitar.
And we all sat around over at the Iridium, and I told you what I wanted to do. And you, of course, pretended that I was okay. You didn't think this was going to happen, did you?
No, I thought it was. No, I thought it was.
Did you?
We were pushing for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because I know, Paul, did you when we were having Christmas dinner with Greg Ercolino?
I wasn't sure it was going to be this
This is great.
incredible and exciting on the corner of Times Square.
Well, see, this has to work because it got money in it. It's like XM. Nobody wants to dump something that doesn't make money because they got so much in it.
That's right.
There's so much money invested in this thing that it can't fail. Even if it fails, they'll never admit it.
They made these cups.
They're going to have me do something terrible to get an audience, That's what happens, you scandalize, and well, you don't do that. You're from England, right?
No, South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I should have known by that hair.
Yeah, you see the combination
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, he sounds like Les.
You look like you had the bunk next to Nelson Mandela.
Oh, almost. I got out there in time, but yeah. That's from,
Where, Johannesburg?
Durban.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's even smaller.
Yep. Durban is a place, and Paul's been there. When did you go there, Paul? A couple of years ago.
I went there almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, for the first time, and he had a great time.
Well, let's mention that South Africa. First of all, Africa is a continent.
Right.
So there's many countries. It's
Oh,
not just.
geez,
It's not like New York and Jersey.
No,
you know?
no. There's plenty of countries there.
And it's got a lot of attitudes in different places.
Yes.
And the wealth used to be down in South Africa, I
Yeah.
think. I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah, well,
And there's
you
the
know,
Gold Coast,
Still
Ghana.
got the gold and the diamonds and the platinum and sure.
And the Lion King.
Sure.
Oh, that's right.
That's most politicians around here.
Yeah,
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
Lion King. You know, we're so privileged to have you, and I want to have you come back again, or has this been okay for you tonight?
I'd love to come back again. I'd love to. I'm having such a good time with these guys, and yesterday was the first gig, and I'd love to.
I want to have this moment on DVD, and I'm going to sell it along with my mug.
There you go.
Without
I got to get one of these.
Without giving you any money.
I gotta get a mug though.
Congratulations, by the way, Joe.
But thank you so much, Blondie. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
You're a gentleman and
Thank
really
you.
a wonderful artist.
Thank you very,
Perfect.
very much.
Perfect singer. And yeah, I know. I got it. And Lou Paulo, who is not too shabby, my good friend. And,
Good friend.
and you see him at the Iridium every Monday night with the
Every
Les Paul
Monday.
Trio. And Paul Nowinski, who
Occasionally.
because Paul has paid too much money now. You can never make enough money in this business, can you? Comedy is worse.
Really?
They put up a brick wall, you wear shabby clothes, and you don't get too much unless you get a series. I'm going to bring Stewie Stone out here. You know Stewie? He opens for Frankie Valli.
I met him in the
And
session.
he's a great friar. He just got back from Germany with a couple of other great comics, Jeffrey Ross, and one other. I forgot who it is. All right, so we'll take a break and we'll come back. Thanks, you guys. See you at the Iridium on Monday night, okay?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Be right back.
I can't believe it. This is the third time this month my PC crashed. The last crash cost me $2,500 and they only restored a portion of my data.
You should check out this new online backup software called Desk Protect. I can easily recover from a crash at any time.
Desk Protect? Must be complicated.
Not at all. With Desk Protect, you just run a simple installation process, and within minutes, you can select the data you need protected.
Sounds expensive.
How's less than $6 a month sound?
$6 a month. Even I can afford that.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop. We're on the air again from New York's Times Square, and of course there's only one Times Square, and it's in New York City. And we're at, if you want to come down here, when the weather breaks, which is any time tomorrow, I think. Are we supposed to have snow again tomorrow, day after? I don't know anymore. I can't tell. But whatever it is, we're gonna be here at 43rd and Broadway, and it's the NASDAQ market site. During the daytime, this is a financial center, and then at night, you know, we kind of like it's our window to the world. And we're so privileged to be here and to be in the greatest city in the world, and the city that never sleeps. And I'm the guy that never sleeps. So you got me. I took a nap, though. I'll tell you that much. Here is a guy who I like very much, a person who is on the Friars list as one of the top comics in the world. And without further ado, I'm sure that I'll do more explaining when he gets here. Here's Stewie Stone. Let's bring him in tonight. Stewie. Oh, what a guy.
What a guy, what a day, what a day. What a walk, what a walk.
Hey, you put makeup on. I'm proud of you.
You're the best.
Grab one of these expensive chairs and sit down.
This is it. How much you want for the mug?
Don't, it's not my franchise.
I have to tell you, you look so terrific, and you and I are wearing sweaters. I must say, my daughter and my wife Franny and my daughter Savannah said, you got to wear a sweater on television because you got to be hip and young.
Yeah, also got to be cold. That's why I'm wearing it. I got a little pin over here too, which nobody probably would notice it unless I point it out. This is a Guardian Angels pin, you know, from Curtis Lewa.
Curtis Lewa.
Yeah. And so I went to the dinner, you know, the fundraising dinner for Guardian Angels. They do a good job with our city.
They certainly do.
You know, they replaced the cops at one time. If you
remember. I remember Brooklyn.
Are you a New York guy originally?
I'm a Brooklyn guy.
Yeah,
I'm a Brooklyn guy.
Is everybody funny from Brooklyn?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost the natural way of doing things.
You either
laughing.
sing or you tell jokes, right?
No, if you're Jewish, you tell jokes. If you sing, you're Italian. That's Brooklyn.
And that's you and Frankie Valli.
That's it. Frankie's Jersey, and I'm Brooklyn.
I know. How did you let that happen?
Oh.
So, Stewie, when you came to Frankie the first time, I guess you were just a guy that was doing stand-up comedy and you thought you were funny, and you stuck around for 30 years.
36.
Oh, my God.
36. I met Frankie Valli at Bachelor's 3 in Fort Lauderdale. It was owned by Joe Namath and Bobby Van and Ray Abruzzi. And I didn't know who Frankie Valli was. And they said, are you going to work with this guy, Frankie Valli? And I was looking for a career move. I was hoping for Sammy Davis. I didn't know. They said it was a short singer. I said, maybe I'll get lucky, it'll be Sammy Davis. It was Frankie. And he was very kind to me. He took me on the road, and it was a lot of years.
Oh, you're great. And you're very family, which is kind of cool.
Right.
And you have a young child.
I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she's beautiful. She rides horses. You know, she's equestrian.
Not in Brooklyn.
No, just like I had in Brooklyn. My house, I have a horse, a dog, and a fish.
Get out of here.
This is it. My life has turned into a horse, a dog, and a fish. And worrying about the horse. It's a cold day. I hope the horse is warm. Not Daddy, but the horse is warm.
Now, Jersey Boys, has it helped Frankie?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, what's happened is Frankie Valli has always been a major star and always had hit records, but he was a voice on the radio. He was a voice on television. And with Jersey Boys, and if you've seen Jersey Boys, the whole story, he's become a human being. So now they want to see him, and he sells out all over. And he deserves it. He's a very, very nice man, and he's a talented man.
And one of my good friends.
That's right. Yeah. You, as a matter of fact, for those of you who saw Jersey Boys, you should have been in it because you were the disc jockey that played Sherry all night and got fired for playing Sherry.
This is true. My career gave him one. Or my failure in my career. But you know, we're all really close with Friars. And something that doesn't get, I know this is not the best comedy, but something that doesn't get addressed a lot is the genuine comedy community that is very, very giving. And every time somebody has something they can't afford, the Friars jump in and pay for it.
The Friars, I'm proud to be a Friar.
Yeah.
I'm the vice president of the Friars Club. As a matter of fact, what we just did, I just came back from Germany. The Friars sent a comedy troupe over to Frankfurt to entertain at the hospital.
Yeah.
And what we entertained were the doctors and the nurses and all the staff, because they get the injured warriors, as soon as they come from the battlefield, they treat them first. And then when they get them situated, they send them to hospitals in the United States, so they never see them getting better. So we went over and we performed, which shows you what the Friars are. We're the only group that sent Jews back to Germany.
The guys you were with Jeffrey Ross, and who else?
Robert Klein, Jeffrey Ross, Adam, the lead singer for the Counting Crows, and a very talented young girl, Sarah. And
this
it was
is
just
like a Bob Hope thing.
It was like a Bob Hope thing. And you know, I don't know if you're pro-war or anti-war. When you meet these boys who give up their life for us, you forget political affiliations. You just realize that they're kids and they've sacrificed everything. And these guys make it possible for every comic to stand on the stage and say what he wants and curse and do anything. They give us the right to make a living.
Well, I think you have to, this is one of those areas where I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, I'm a political atheist, and I stay in the middle, but I certainly support our military because...
You have to.
How can you not? I mean, these are people putting their lives out so that I can have one. Well, I mean, that's what that is.
Well, when you're not there and you don't meet these kids, and you don't see these kids and their dedication, because most of them want to go back.
Yeah.
They're warriors. They want to go back. It's like doing a late show in the mountains. You die, you want to go back the next day. I mean, they said, it was rough in Afghanistan. I said, have you ever done a bungalow colony in the summer? That's rough.
You know, I spent a week at, well, we did a documentary film about the trip to the Marines, and we had a whole week in Savannah, Georgia, which is close to Parris Island. And I had gone on the base and watched the graduates and filmed it. And there was a 12-year-old kid with Make-A-Wish who wanted to be a Marine.
Right.
They gave him a full dress. It's always very touching to see families because we give so much as families. But it seems like when it gets into politics, we're not talking about giving or families anymore. We're not talking about soldiers. We're talking about ideology. You know, we get into this great belief system that we ought to have this, we ought to have that, and we don't get to the real issue, which is somebody's giving their life for this country.
You know, the one thing I love about being a comedian and a performer, we give so much.
Yeah.
You know, we get great amounts of love from an audience. There's nothing better than standing on a stage, talking to people, and them applauding you for what you did. You know, plumbers do a wonderful job, but after they fix the toilet, they go, oh, thank you, Herbie, you did a wonderful job. But we're always called upon to do charity events to raise money, and we do it willingly and lovingly. But a lot of times we don't see the result of our work. This, we saw a result of our work.
And I love when you come out and you tell everybody about, I don't want to do your act, but I could.
You could.
I can't do it as well, but I could. I do your act. I love what you do, and you walk out and you make everybody very comfortable, and you do all of your things about your home life, which I hope you'll share a minute with us.
Oh, sure, because the only thing that makes me different than any other comic is my life, because my life is different than their life. I mean, my life is, it's so unusual because I met my beautiful wife at the Concord Hotel, which was a part of our life. We lived together, we broke up, I got divorced, then I got married again, but I did it all with the same woman.
Oh.
So people say to me, what's it like remarrying your ex-wife? I said, it's like breaking out of jail and then breaking back in. And they said, why would you do that? I said, because I want to be near my money. Why else would I do that? But I feel that people can relate when you talk about your family. I talk about my beautiful daughter, and I'm a lot older as a parent. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and they say, what's it like being a father at my age? I said, it's like being a grandfather with kids that never leave. She's in that house.
You're great. You're great. All right, we're going to take a little break here. We got to go do some commercials. You do that during your show now? Mm-hmm. Do they have commercials? Does Frankie stop singing?
Stops in the middle. I hold up a record.
Not too far from the truth. We'll be right back. Stewie Stone, All Night with Joey Reynolds.
Steve, I can't get the files on the Sandoz case. The printers are down again.
Steve, the wireless network and all the servers are completely down on the 4th floor.
That's it. Denise, I'm done with that company. Call ASAP NetSauce. Also, tell them we need an on-site tech for some installs we got going on next week.
Dad, the printer isn't working again, and I have to hand in this report tomorrow morning.
And the internet's down again.
And we're out of toner, too.
I know just who to call.
Let ASAP NetSource be your only source for your office and home.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
I wanted everybody to know the Friars are a very wonderful organization that helps people, and they don't take credit for it. Usually you think of them as a roast organization. And Pat Cooper being here the other night, I draw from a lot of different people on the show because we're a community and common unity. So Stewie here, who is one of my favorite comics, of course, and we asked him to be here tonight, and he's, well, you would never know it, and I just said it to him, but he had throat cancer this last year and a half.
No, I'm just back working a month.
Is that all?
And I tell you one thing, comedy cures. Laughter could get you through. I mean, no matter what problem you have, if you laugh, and it's horrible, but you get through it.
There's an organization called that, you know.
Comedy Cures?
Yeah. And a girl named Sarah Beth, she's got, you got one there. So
she gave me the bracelet.
See, there's a lot of things that go on. Why don't we not talk like this on the television and the radio? Is it like too corny or something?
I think everybody's interested in, a comic wants to get a laugh. He doesn't want the audience or the public to see there's a serious side, that there's a heart and a passion.
Yeah.
And most comics are bright and very passionate and involved. You sit with them in a coffee shop, they're not funny. They're talking about politics, they're talking about this, they're talking about that. But we are passionate, and I think it's our obligation to go before an audience and say what our problems are. That I just went through this. The first few days when I was drinking water, I told the audience why I was drinking water. And I told them that this month, I'd never heard laughter before. But when you go through something like this, you hear that laughter, you hear that applause. It just gets in your soul and awakens things, your spirit. I mean, I cry at the drop of a hat now. It's a different thing.
In the day of the great one-liner comics, I can't picture Henny Youngman being passionate.
No,
there was no.
Henny was not a passionate man. Every day he walked into the Friars for 40 years, went to the maitre d', give me a table next to a waiter. That's it. Said that every day for 40 years. Table next to a waiter. Remember Gene Bayless?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was his idol.
Oh, he was the funniest man that ever lived, Gene Bayless. Why does everybody say that? All you guys say that because
about him.
he was naturally funny. He didn't do jokes. I mean, his act, he was not great with his act. His act was corny, and he did jokes. But everybody loved him because he would do shtick. And, I mean, we're standing in front of a stage delicatessen, and a crane comes by with a ball, you know, a wrecking ball swinging. And he looks up and he said, I told them all I wanted was a hand mic. Why did they bring this? I mean, the way his mind worked. Well, he walked up to Les Moomis, who was the president of CBS, at the Friars Club, reaches into his pocket, takes out $1, puts it in and said, take the money. Don't be ashamed. Take the money. Take the money.
And the elegant man was Mousy Lawrence, who he was like Cary Grant. You know.
Mousy was always good looking.
Very elegant, though. You know,
not as elegant as Alan King. There was nobody who dressed better than Alan King, and was such a nice man because he would help all the young comics.
And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're bringing Johnny Deluxe out here.
That's
do you know
terrific.
Him? You know, you got to pass the torch on. Somewhere.
This is the baton. He gets the baton.
Is that what it is?
He gets the mug.
Come on, Johnny. Come on out here. Johnny Deluxe, who is the young generation. Of course, he was even younger looking last week when he had a growth on his face and he shaved.
Nice to see you, Joey.
Johnny.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Good. He's Greek. It's allowed.
Yeah. We're Greeks. We kiss twice. Usually, I should have kissed you on the other cheek as well.
Thank you.
Now, you want to be a comic? You're supposed to have a diner. What are you doing?
I did come from. I was practically born in a diner.
Really?
First thing I learned to read was a diner menu. It didn't pan out at school. Because the first day of class, the teacher asked me, what's 2 and 1 and 1? And I said, that's easy. It's 2 eggs, a side of bacon, and an order of toast.
I like that.
Yeah, I grew up in a diner.
Now, are you familiar with each other? Do you guys know?
I am familiar with Mr. Stone's work. He's a legend.
But are you personally...
No, this is the first time we have.
The first time
you have to come to the Friars because you have hair. That's unusual.
That's nice. Well, you have hair too.
Well, it's
bulletproof.
I spread it around.
You get to a certain age, you can do that.
Now, what's going on with your career here? There's no series.
No, not yet. I'm writing a book. I'm writing 2 books. The Little Book of Mean, which is a book of insults.
Fair enough.
And
what's one of them?
I'll tell you one I put on a guy last night. He insulted me, told me I looked too skinny. I said, buddy, look at you. You're so fat you sweat fudge. And cry milkshakes. Added that one later. And the other book I'm writing is The Big Book of Crushed Dreams, which growing up in Brooklyn, you experience a lot of them.
I know, and I went to your wedding.
Yeah, that was the finest day of my life. That wasn't a crushed dream. That was a dream come true.
2 years ago.
Just about.
You better be saying that.
Yeah.
Where in Brooklyn?
I grew up first in Park Slope and then in Bath Beach. Then I lived a little in Fort Greene. All around. All my life.
I'm Flatbush.
You're Flatbush. What high school did you go to?
Erasmus Hall. I went to school with this girl singer. I don't know if did you ever hear of her? Streisand?
Barbara?
I think she made it.
I heard of a girl with the big nose.
Yeah, and Lane Levine was with Laney Kazan.
Yeah.
And Laney Kazan was built. And when we would go from class to class, give a guy a quarter, he would push into Laney. Go, I'm terribly sorry.
They turned that into a ride at Coney Island, didn't they?
That's it.
Well,
Lady
she also was in the Greek wedding.
She was. She played the mom in my big fat Greek wedding. Go figure. You hire a nice Jewish girl to play a Greek mom.
That's right.
Well, I used to see her over at the Bikram yoga classes. You know, she was she got a little wide after not taking practice. But you know, the Bikram yoga is an hour and a half in a hot room. You know about it.
That hot yoga?
The hot yoga, yeah. Which is very good, actually, for you now that you're recovering.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Well, I have to work out. It's a whole new world.
That is working out.
Go to a strip club. Have the girl work out for you.
Let me tell you, a happy ending for me is to be left alone.
Let him sleep.
Let me alone. Don't bother me. I just want to get through with this.
The plight of the comics was to get, what I made my little snarky comment when you first came out here, was to get a series. Because that's where stand-up comedy went. I mean, when Stewie first started, it was a craft unto itself. And I think now it's that again.
Now, it's becoming more now. Back, I would say about 10, 15 years ago, there was a trend of actors who wanted to be found or discovered doing stand-up comedy. So for a while, you got comedians who would just work on a good 7 minutes, try to get a TV credit, and then hopefully be offered a TV series. Nowadays, I'm running into more of my peers who love stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy. You don't have to put me on TV for anything, anybody.
Well, wait a minute. That's where you are.
But yes, but no. I don't need a TV series to feel successful or happy. I love doing stand-up.
But if you analyze it, the only real pure American art form is stand-up comedy.
Yes, and jazz.
Well, jazz, if you have to say, came basically from Africa into New Orleans, but America was the first one to have a stand-up comic to stand in front of a curtain and talk to an audience.
That's true.
And we're funny people. Just in Germany, there are not too many funny guys in Germany.
No,
well, the town hall here was built for Mark Twain, wasn't it?
Right.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was
basically a raconteur, a comedian, a stand-up comic.
And I guess I'm going to have him here, but Jackie Mason would be one of those guys that he seems to be more. He's passionate.
Jackie, yes. Jackie.
You give him Viagra, he's very passionate.
Jackie is basically the Shalom Aleichem of today. I mean, he's a culture. He's past being a stand-up comic into a cultural icon.
He's turned into George Burns, something like that. You mean?
Yeah, but I mean.
Well, George Burns was not editorial.
That's true.
No. George Burns just tells stories about Jack Benny. See, the difference between you young comedians and the older comedians, and I learned this from the Alan Kings and the Buddy Hackett's, we didn't work comedy clubs. You worked a strip club or you worked a Playboy club where you had to be good. If you weren't good, you didn't get booked for a year. So the young comic has the option of entertaining himself, doing what he wants. If you don't like it, okay, that's the way it is.
True.
Where the older comic was like a waiter. You brought the jokes out on the tray. I'm giving it to you. You got to laugh. And if you didn't laugh, I don't work, I don't eat. So it became a craft and an art form, like being a carpenter or something else.
Yeah, you had to be good.
But I respect the young kids because you created something a lot different.
A lot of people don't know that Johnny Carson was a terrific stand-up comic.
Great stand-up comic.
Great stand-up, and he loved dirty comics. He loved.
I don't know about that.
he, not on the show, but he himself loved to listen to a good blue comic.
Well, he came out one time. I worked for Wayne Newton, like you did too, and Wayne wasn't really too fond of Johnny for a while because he made fun of him. And when that war was going on, I didn't know that. And I just first took the job. I was president of his company, you know. And so I took my wife, and we went to see Johnny Carson, who was my favorite. I went to the Sahara, I think it was.
Oh, that's where he worked, the Sahara.
And I wanted to see him in person because I'd never seen him in person.
Deputy Johnny, he did that.
I was absolutely blown away. You know what? He walked out with a card table on suspenders. He said, with the table in front, he said, "This is so you recognize me."
That's funny.
And I broke me up. I said, "I love this guy."
He worked the Concord Hotel in the Catskill Mountains, and they had 2,500 people. They had the knockers on the table because Milton Berle brought in the knockers because the people in they didn't want to applaud, but with the knockers, they would do the thing. And Johnny Carson walked out, and 2,000 people were hitting the table, and he said, "Sounds like 2,000 Jewish woodpeckers."
He was very, very good. And I came back to Wayne, and I said, I thought he was wonderful. And Wayne almost shot me because he was so angry at him at that time, you know. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to like him.
And he was great in the roasts. He used to, when he lived in New York, he used to MC a lot of the Friars roasts. And you say about Dirty Comics, Johnny surprised us because when we went on Comedy Central, and the thing about the Friars roast is we always roast the people we love, and they were friends, so everybody knew everybody. It was a love fest. And when he watched the one on Comedy Central, he called up and complained. And he says, "This is not a Friars roast. They don't know anybody, and I don't want to be connected with this."
I never understood booking somebody to roast somebody when they don't know, they don't personally know them. One of the great things about a Friars roast, Friars roasting Friars, is that they know something about them. And the barbs are just that much more
well, we weren't
serrated.
The older roasts, we weren't as dirty as they are today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I roasted Donald Trump, and my opening line was, "If Donald, you're happy to be here. If your father wasn't born first, you'd be a waiter at this affair." So you don't. What the secret of a roast is, you have to say the thing that everybody working for the guy would love to say, that he can't say it. You know, it's easy to curse a guy. Like we had. I went blank for a second. Who's the fight manager with all the
Don
hair?
King.
Don King. I told Don King when we roasted him, I said, "You ever sit in front of 2,000 white people without taking an oath?" So basically, you don't have to curse a guy out. But
That's true.
And you know what? Just to further this, Johnny will probably substantiate this thought that I don't think they're thinking that they're saying anything dirty. You know, we're so, this culture is, the younger culture is used to the language.
Definitely.
And they don't think of themselves as being swearing or saying anything dirty. It's expression or something.
Well, you know, anybody could say freedom of speech, but there is a fine line between being dirty, being filthy, and then saying something and having to use it to decorate it. If there's one thing I've noticed that lately has happened is a lot of people are using it gratuitously. It's all right to curse. Lenny Bruce cursed, and it was big back then, but he didn't curse just for the sake of cursing. There was a use to that curse, and now it seems, back in the Def Jam days, people just curse just for the sake of cursing. Because
you know what I noticed? I think I don't use a computer, and I don't. When people say text, I say I have a very unusual thing. It's called the phone. Call me. I want to hear your voice. I don't want to know about a computer.
Yeah.
But basically, I think we're living in this age where you don't face the people you hurt anymore. Even on a roast.
Yeah.
You don't know the guy,
it's
you say what you
impersonal.
want, and you walk away. You don't see the guy.
Yeah.
Like we roasted Quentin Tarantino. I didn't know Quentin Tarantino. I said a few things. What I did say to him, I have to respect the guy that'll do a movie about killing Hitler. I said, but we needed you to do it in 1938. But I'll
Stewie
never
Stone.
see him again, and that's the way it is.
You're great. We're gonna take a break and then we'll come back. Johnny Deluxe and also KT Sullivan is going to be here. KT is a great entertainer, and you
Love
probably
AT.
have seen her. She's wonderful. And all the great gems are coming out on this show. So
This is it.
if you don't know who these people are, you gotta take this course that we're giving every night here. And by the end of 6 months, you will know the best entertainers in New York. We'll be right back.
When New York celebrities have something to say, they head for the stoop.
This is my stoop. I gotta come to the stoop.
Talk Stoop.
I feel like we're so close that we could kiss. This is a whole other kind of stoop.
It's where Kat Greenleaf gets people talking.
What? Really?
Yep.
That's amazing. Yes. Listen, Naked. Do you mind if I call you Naked? Tell me something good.
The best of New York on a stoop in Brooklyn.
The celebrity butts that have graced the stoop.
Talk Stoop, weeknights at 8 on New York Nonstop. Sponsored by Cozy. Life should be delicious.
I'm an anchor and a pilot.
I am passionate about chocolate.
I am a ballerina.
I'm the daughter of a jazz musician.
I am a 4-time New York Golden Glove champion.
I'm my grandpa.
Yeah, I'm a grandma.
I'm interested in the story behind the story.
I'm making this look natural.
I am glamorous.
I'm an anchor and a blues girl.
I am all about my craft.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I'm a New Yorker.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I recommend a steak.
This place is
I
recommend this place.
Story of the moment. A taste of the best. It's opening night. A helping hand. The characters of New York. The spirit of New York. Told our way. LX New York. Weekdays at 5. We're all over town.
From Times Square in the heart of New York City, Welcome to All Night with Joey Reynolds. Joey's guest tonight, comedian Stewie Stone, cabaret divas, Barbara Russell, KT Sullivan, Broadway producer Pat Addiss, our musical guests, Jon Weber, and Jay Leonhart. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Reynolds.
Oh, man. What does my agent say today? What do I have in common with the weather? Zero visibility. No, I'm going to have some visibility now. You know, I didn't want to do television at first this time around. Everybody knows I really wanted to do the show for a long time. But I was thinking about it, that Oprah can't go anywhere without someone sticking their nose in her food. You can't eat, you can't have a good time when you're on TV because people bother you all the time. And fortunately, I live at the home for the relatively unimportant. And nobody's really done anything to bother my meals. Want to thank the Brooklyn Diner. They're across the street from us on 43rd. They're our good neighbors. And you can even get a little shot of that marquee they have featuring the pea soup. Now, they gave us some food tonight, and we want to thank those guys for giving us they gave us a discount. You know, we're going to get such a big audience that they're going to just want us to mention them without ever giving any money at all. And we'll get there. But we have a good amount of people in our city who are generous, and we have those who know how to promote, and sometimes they're one and the same. All right, tonight on our show, or this morning, you know, whichever way you look at this, if you're going to bed, you're getting in, you're going out, we have a wonderful guest. Again, all of the people on the show are exceptional, and we picked them out. We hand-picked them. This is not something where we just figure no one else is around, so let's put them on the air. It's not that kind of show. We hand-picked them because we want to put people on that you don't ordinarily see on a channel you wouldn't ordinarily watch at a time when you wouldn't ordinarily be up, and with a guy who wouldn't ordinarily be doing this. So, you know, we're unordinary. And in our unordinary world that we live in right now, where we need to change, if you listen to the president, and I believe that too, we do need to change. You know, as an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic, the change happens after you hit a bottom. And believe me, if we haven't hit a bottom with this economy in this country right now, every time I think we hit a bottom, there's a trap door opens and we got a new bottom. But I want to bring out some people who are going to help us forget those problems. I just reminded you. And put us on the right track of change and presenting people you wouldn't ordinarily see, as I mentioned. And in the cabaret community, you find nightclub entertainers, you find Broadway entertainers, you find people who are exceptional in their craft. And this lady is certainly at the top of her game. And let us have a nice round of applause, because that's with one hand, with KT Sullivan. Here she is. KT, come on out here. I'm ready to receive you. And whatever abuse you're going to hand me.
Joey!
You are referred to as a diva.
Joey.
How are you?
Diva time. How are you? Oh.
See, she's European trained, so I can kiss both cheeks.
That's right, Joey. We're Italian.
I know.
Yes.
And you learned in Italy how to sing opera.
I did. Non ti scordare di me, la vita mia legate a te. You look great out here. I love walking by and seeing you out in here.
Well, it's nice to have a job.
It's a big time. It's really a big time. It's like
I know
this is.
Yes, actually is the big time,
yes.
isn't it? I can't.
When tourists are walking by and looking in the window, it's really.
Pinch me here. I think.
This is it, Joey.
Pinch me over there.
Joey, this is it.
I think this is as good as it gets.
This is it. Look, people are taking pictures of you, Joey.
Well, there are people who that's the FBI. They put me up on the wall at Rayos with Joey Cookie.
I'll see your picture at the post office.
I think one of the things that is exceptional is our relationship.
Yeah.
As people who discovered each other at the DeSisto School in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. My daughter was on the show last night.
Mercedes was here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was a waiter.
Yes.
At 13, 15, 14 years old. You know, the kids volunteer for the summer. And Michael DeSisto, who founded that school in the Stockbridge area. Well, it is Stockbridge.
It is Stockbridge. Yeah. It's like Norman Rockwell country.
Well, what he did was he put these troubled teens in a mansion and started these dorms. And every weekend, the kids would cater this cabaret, which they did not serve the drinks, but everything else the kids did. And they became accustomed to the great music, which is way beyond their age.
Yeah, other young kids aren't exposed to those great standards.
No. So my daughter, at 13 years old, was waiting tables while K.T. Sullivan is singing American Standard songs. And Margaret Whiting was up there at the time. We lost her this year, you know.
Oh, I went to a memorial today.
Yeah. She's a lovely
Wonderful
lady.
person, a great supporter, and a great singer.
Yeah.
Just a great, no-nonsense singer.
And those who are old enough to remember Margaret Whiting, her father was
Richard Whiting.
Yeah.
Hooray for Hollywood.
He wrote great songs, and they were in the movies.
Yes.
And he was
Too
responsible.
marvelous, too wonderful for words.
Oh, see, you know all this stuff.
Yeah.
We should have Mark Nadler here with you. You know? Now, Mark is a cabaret singer, and
Yes.
you two work together often.
And you do Bikram yoga together.
I did. I saw him on Sunday. We had a demonstration over at Merkin Hall.
Yeah.
And Mark was entertaining, as always, you know,
Yes.
tap dancing, because he's the last person left doing a tap dance.
While he's doing yoga, does it go together?
No.
Okay.
No. He was entertaining the yoga crowd for a yoga competition. You've never taken that, have you?
I've been taking power yoga.
You have?
At the gym over there on 10th Avenue. And it's so, I didn't realize yoga was so hard. I was sweating and everything. It's fabulous.
Well, you're supposed to sweat.
Well, yoga, I was always kind of, feel good, meditate.
The reason I met Bikram was he'll be on the show one of these days, was I thought he had good weed. I figured these guys.
Sort of new age yoga, yes, true.
That was so wrong.
That's so funny, Joey. You've come a long way.
I have. So now, in this wonderful outfit that you have on here,
Thank you.
Beautiful handmade, all your clothes are exquisite. Do you have someone design them, or are you doing them?
No, I know a lot of designers, and I know a lot of people that collect and are great shoppers. Someone like Barbara Flood, this hat, she finds this down in Soho somewhere, this spot. She finds these things, and she puts them across her table, and I just pick them out.
Is Steve, your husband, rich?
No, I also have people that give me things. See, because I like to dress up. So people, their mothers die or their grandmothers die, and they find all these white kid gloves, and they give them to me, or they say, my mother's died. I want to give you her hats. Things like that. This is always happening to me, which is nice. And my husband likes that too.
Well, you have a great collection of clothes. I mean, do you recycle them, or are you? I've never seen you wear the same thing twice.
I do give a lot of things away. If I've worn it and I'm tired of it, I do give it away.
I see.
Yeah.
So you don't mind giving things away?
I love giving things away.
Well, remember George Carlin with stuff. I got stuff.
Get rid of your stuff.
Well,
Makes you feel better.
I'm starting to wear them on TV now, so finally.
This is nice clothes.
Yeah, this one was made for me.
All right.
For a change.
You can't go wrong with that.
No.
I have a couple of designers who make clothes for me, like Eric Rudy, who's on Broadway in Fela. He's made me a couple of opening night dresses. You've seen it at the Algonquin.
Yeah.
So it's nice when it's made to your body, isn't it?
Yeah, well, everything is nice when you have the right body.
Well, you go to Bikram yoga, so
well, we're getting in shape.
Okay, yeah.
When you're on television, it gives you an automatic 10 pounds anyway.
Oh, my God.
So you didn't ask for this, did you?
Oh, well, it's in television, you meet people that are so gorgeous and intelligent. You meet them, and they're much thinner than they look on television. Wouldn't it be nice if the opposite were true? If you met all your favorite stars and they were heavier than you thought they were? That if film took off pounds, wouldn't that be, why didn't that happen?
Well, if it did that, we would not ever get, well, first of all, nobody would ever want to be on
we could
this.
have your cheesecake, not worry about it.
That's right. I was going to bring it up, but I didn't want to bring up my cheesecake again.
It would be so wonderful.
And you did it.
Well, no, anyone's ever had your cheesecake never gets over it.
I want to bring Barbara Brussell out.
Oh, one of my best friends.
Now, Barbara is a wonderful entertainer. She's got a mouth on her.
She's from California. I met her in California,
Well, Barbara, come on in here and join our little soiree tonight. I guess the last time I saw her, we were at the Dutch Treat.
Yes, we like the Dutch Treat.
And that's at Gramercy Park.
Yeah.
Here's Barbara Brussell.
Come
on around here.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, Barbara.
Oh, hello. Barbara's visiting us from California. Hi. She's
good to have you back.
The other night. We did a trip to Mickey Leonard. Do you know Mickey Leonard, don't you? We did a tribute to Mickey Leonard, which Jon Weber was the music director on. And you know who showed up? Mark Murphy showed up. You know Mark Murphy?
Yeah, he was a legendary jazz
He's
pianist
amazing.
and singer.
Yes, he was on the show the other night.
Really classy.
Well,
It's great.
so are
Great
you.
music.
So are you ladies.
Oh, thank you.
Well, there's a
Joey.
difference between class and classy. Classy is a cheap word. Class is an elegant word.
Well, thank you.
So you have class.
Oh,
you
well.
have class.
Thank you.
You are not classy.
Okay.
All right. Thank
So
you.
I want to welcome you to the show.
I'm honored to be in your first week. This is
I know.
so nice.
And I'm just trash.
Yeah, trashy.
Trashy.
That's
I'm
perfection.
Like the Jersey boys, or your Buffalo boys.
I know, isn't it awful? You never get over it. I got to plow outside. So are we going to sing a little song tonight?
I'd love to sing your song, Joey.
You would.
I've got something very special for you.
Do we have to have music for that? I mean, piano? Is John going to play for you, or are you going to do it?
We could, or we could do it without it.
Yeah, because you're great at that. I mean, you don't really need any accompaniment. But let's do it the right way. All right.
John's amazing. John Weber is amazing.
We got a keyboard, and we got a guy who knows how to play. Now, Mark Nadler, I want to talk about this for a minute.
Okay.
When you do the Algonquin with Mark, you celebrate Gershwin, for instance, George Gershwin.
With
and
John
I always
Weber
learn.
last time, yeah.
I learn when I go to your Irving Berlin 2 hours you did.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And you know, the amazing thing to tell the audience here is that when you and John, or you and John is also involved, he plays piano, and Mark are together, there's not only magic, there's history, and you do it really, really fun, in a fun way to learn. But what I really am impressed with is John will play one thing and Mark will play another on the piano keyboard at the same time.
That's the way Mark is. Mark's mind goes that way. He devises these melodies that go together. We've already done that too.
I don't know if he can show us a sample
And he
of that
devised John being in that show you saw. He's a big admirer of John Weber, so he thought he has enough confidence to say, come on, have another pianist on the show and we'll do four hands.
All right, there's nobody more in New York from that generation than George Gershwin.
I think so.
The Manhattan Towers, maybe with Gordon Jenkins. That was probably...
And he died before things changed. You know, Ira lived into the 90s.
And Ira was not his wife.
No, he wasn't.
His lovely wife.
But you know, a lot of other people lived long enough. Johnny Mercer lived long enough, and people lived long enough. Harold Arlen had a long life. They lived long enough to see things change and see the rock come in and all those. George died when he was 37, so he didn't see the world change. So he went
Never
out
heard a
on his
Beatles
peak.
tune.
Did he play at Carnegie Hall?
Oh yeah, and he played at some other great halls. John will tell you exactly where. There's some great.
All right, well,
yeah.
Before you do that, I want you to tell the story about that girlfriend he had.
Now, Kay Swift, it's interesting you said that, Joy, because Kay Swift, my new show at the Algonquin in May is going to be all about the female composers, and Kay Swift was a wonderful composer, and he admired her musically. They actually had a mutual admiration society because he wrote the songbook with her. She was classically trained, and she understood music more than he was. He was a natural, so he learned a lot from her. But they had an affair that lasted 10 years.
Yeah, he didn't want to get married,
She was
right?
a married woman, and I think that's what he liked about her, is that he liked married women because they didn't want to get married.
Right.
Once she got divorced, and she hoped that she wouldn't be, obviously, he wasn't really interested anymore. In fact, that's what Oscar Levant said as they were leaving a club here in New York one time. He said, "There goes George Gershwin and the future Mrs. Kay Swift."
Oh, God.
Oscar was a good friend. He understood that George probably.
Now, Barbara, have you seen KT with any of these epilogues where she does the stories and all that?
Brilliant. I've seen KT for years.
But you've seen her.
KT was the first person who inspired me, besides Charles Aznavour, when I was 15.
Really?
I saw him when I was 15, and it was so beautiful. And
I'll bet I can mention a song that you don't know which he wrote, which is my favorite.
Let me have it.
You've Let Yourself Go.
Talked about it today.
Did you really?
Did.
Honest?
Who was I talking to?
Not let yourself go. Relax.
No. This is about a marriage.
With Mark. With Mark Nadler.
Oh, really?
We were talking about Aznavour, and we were talking about, I was going to do some of his songs. I was talking about a marriage, because I just recently got married. So I was talking about doing marriage songs and different sides of that. And one of the songs is called Happy Anniversary. They've been married 20 years, and he's like, oh, I have this headache, and we waited for that little black dress to arrive from the dry cleaner. You got into it, the zipper broke. We were late for our tickets. We didn't see that. We didn't want to eat. You didn't want to talk. And then it's like, happy anniversary. And then they kiss and they walk silently together in the park. 20 years. It's a wonderful song, Aznavour.
Yeah, well,
you let yourself go.
Yeah, because a wife to a man should always be beautiful. Or
wow.
Really?
You know, I mean, when you are a little
what's
older.
Beautiful?
Well, we call you a cougar when you're a little older.
Older, yeah.
You know what's amazing? This term cougar, is a very new term. And usually women in their early 30s are calling them cougars. This is ridiculous.
Right.
Well,
What do they call
these
other
shows on
people?
television? These young women, these young women are being called cougars. It's bizarre.
Well, marrying young guys, too. I
Well,
mean,
if they're 30 marrying 17, it's a cougar.
yeah. Well, what am I
And
then?
why is
What
it
would I
cougar,
be?
though?
There
What
was
does
never
cougar
a,
represent?
What were men called? Were men called wolves?
Why is it-
Men were
Well,
always called wolves when they
it's
were
a-
after young girls?
No, I mean, a cougar is more than a fox. That's what it is. You know,
Oh.
it's an older,
It's
it's an
older.
animal
So
that's
wiser,
got,
slyer.
Yeah,
So-
it's got a little more going for it.
And
you
it's
know.
a cat.
Yeah, and it's really a cat.
A meow meow.
Yeah.
A sophisticated
It's as
meow.
far as we're going to go with this conversation. We're going to be right back with our.
Another word for.
Welcome to the world's
Meow.
to the world's friendliest chat room. Barbara Brussell and Katie Sullivan. Be right back.
Steve, I can't get the files on the Sanders case to print. Printers are down again.
Steve, the wireless network and all the servers are completely down on the 4th floor.
That's it. Denise, I'm done with that company. Call ASAP NetSource. Also, tell them we need an on-site tech for some installs we got going on next week.
Dad, the printer isn't working again, and I have to hand in this report tomorrow morning.
And the internet's down again.
And we're out of toner, too.
I know just who to call.
Let ASAP NetSource be your only source for your office and home.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ Market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC, desktops, and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
What's New York famous for? Saloons, cabaret. It's saloon songs, you know. That's just what the city was built on that during the 40s and 50s, after World War II. Matter of fact, if you got Patsy's Pizza, the one at 118th Street, that's the place where during the war they used to have, we had blackouts in the city and you were not allowed to have your lights on. But at Patsy's, I think they had a curtain and they would still party. Even the mayor, I mean, everybody was in denial, you know. But it's a city of saloon singers, and one of the best is, well, Frank Sinatra was one of a kind, and Barbra Streisand. There's a lot of one of a kinds, and Katie Sullivan's another one. She's here with us tonight. And Jon Weber, who accompanies her, is an exceptional piano player. I was going to say pianist, but that sounds terrible. So are you going to play a little bit? Jon, you have the fastest fingers since Houdini. You know, I mean, give us a little, just run across the keyboard a little, put it on the air. You got a little Casio piano here, no foot pedal.
Come Come on, do some stride.
Now do some,
Joe.
stride. Come on, show us your work. Now we got a camera for you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Gershwin.
Great.
A little Gershwin here.
I got the first part of that down. FACE-EGBDF.
Facebook.
It's wonderful. Yeah. So yeah, no, Facebook. That's right. That's very, very good.
That's how I remember it.
Now you got Katie Sullivan's singing talent, and you guys are doing a double sometimes at the Algonquin, and you do the history of some of the music. Where are you from originally?
Born in Milwaukee.
No.
Milwaukee, famous for Harley Davidson motorcycles and Miller beer, which is a bad combination.
Yeah,
I don't think you should pop a Miller and get your motor running.
And where else did you live besides that?
I lived in Chicago for 20 years and wrote a lot for television out there, and I love Chicago. It's great, but I'm happy to be in New York now. I've been here for about 5 years.
Well, so this is a kind of a show that you were doing years ago, but we reinvented it, right?
Oh, I love it, yeah. And it's always a pleasure to play for KT. She's a fantastic singer. She's taught me a lot of music. I mean, every time we do a gig, I have to learn 15 new songs, because where did you hear this? She knows everything.
Well,
what about, my favorite song is The Way You Look Tonight.
I know, and I think it should be sung by a man. You should sing it, Joey.
No,
Okay,
don't do it. No. This will really ruin the show.
Okay,
I've done enough damage.
Someday. When we're awfully low.
Someday, when you're awfully low. I don't want to go any farther.
Maybe you could work with John.
I think I'm Stephen Schwartz.
A little coaching session.
We'll figure out your key.
He's very talented, too, Stephen Schwartz. I like to mention him because he's got a radio show. He plays this stuff.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So what are you going to sing now?
So Julie Stein, and I was thinking about this. I was going to sing something else, but I want to sing this because the last time John and I went to see Margaret Whiting in her home, in her apartment on 58th Street, John sat and played a lot of Richard Whiting songs for her, on Richard Whiting, her father, the composer, on his piano, and she loved it so much. But at the time, she was very excited because her recording of this next song by Julie Stein was in a movie called Julie and Julia.
Yep.
And this was in the last year of her life, and so she was so excited that everyone was talking about it. They played her version at the end of the titles, the complete version.
Meryl Streep did not sing.
No. No. This is over. It's like they played Margaret's version of this song at the end, and they played the full version. It wasn't just a little clip or a few bars. It was the whole amazing version that Margaret did. And I can't begin to do that, but I want to sing. I think you'll like this song too, Joey. It's a good one. No one sang it like Margaret, but. Time after time, I tell myself that I'm so lucky to be loving you, so lucky to be the one you run to see in the evening when the day through. I only know what I know. The passing years will show. You've kept my love so young, so new. And time after time, you'll hear me say so lucky to be loving you.
passing years will show you've kept my love so young, so new, and time after time you'll hear me say that I'm so lucky to be loving you.
Like a choir girl. K.T. Sullivan comes from I meant Jonathan Schwartz when I said Stephen Schwartz, because that was his father who was the writer.
Arthur Schwartz. And I did
Arthur Schwartz?
Yeah, Arthur Schwartz was his father wrote the music. But dancing in the dark till the tune ends, we're dancing in the dark. And you and the night and the music fill me with flaming desire. Great songs.
And his son is a disc jockey, right? Jonathan?
Jonathan
Is that right?
Schwartz.
Okay.
He plays our songs.
I just want to make sure. Just make
Yeah.
sure. Give everybody their full measure on the show,
Thank
you know,
you.
because we got a great city,
Well,
and I
Stephen
want to.
Schwartz is a good composer too, but that's lots of good.
He's another one.
Schwartzes.
Yeah, I've had him on the show before.
I bet you have.
He's the
yes.
guy who did.
He's still around. He's young. Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
He played on one of our
Metal
cheap
Lark.
pianos.
Pippin.
Made it sound expensive.
Pippin, yeah, he's
Now,
the
you
big
know-
time. You only have the big time here, Joe.
I know, and your
Yeah.
family. I want to mention that for a
Family,
minute.
family
The
in
Sullivan
May.
family. Put that mic down.
They're all coming. Oh, it's I'm not singing.
The Sullivan family from Oklahoma is
Mm-hmm.
where you're from, and you got your mother and your father and the whole family performing every year at Carnegie Hall up until this last year. I guess you're not doing that anymore, huh?
Well, I like the Algonquin. My mother did her birthday there last year and went very well, and she's doing it again this year.
Yeah.
And my sister Heather's going to be at Feinstein's in May.
Good.
Yeah, we're getting around.
And your brother?
And my sister-in-law Robin, who John plays for, is going to be at Don't Tell Mama. So we're getting around town.
And you guys are amazing together, and every one of you is very talented,
In a
and
different way, yeah.
and I just really applaud you. You're great.
My mom says hello, by the way. I talked to her today. We'll see you in May.
I love your mother.
She loves you.
She's
She loves your cheesecake.
We're back on that again. Let's sell the mugs. I'm going to do a mug shot. Jon Weber, K.T. Sullivan, and Barbara Brussell is going to sing in a little while.
Okay.
We'll bring her out here. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back here. Jay Leonhart is coming up, and he's going to play bass. You know, it's a music night tonight. We're in that vibe. Yeah. You know, in that vibe. Some nights we'll do this. Other nights we'll just sit here and BS.
You and the night and the music.
Yeah, me
Fill
and
me
the
with
night and the
flaming
BS.
desire.
We'll be right back.
I can't believe it. This is the third time this month my PC crashed. The last crash cost me $2,500 and they only restored a portion of my data.
You should check out this new online backup software called Desk Protect. I can easily recover from a crash at any time.
Desk Protect? Must be complicated.
Not at all. With Desk Protect, you just run a simple installation process, and within minutes, you can select the data you need protected.
Sounds expensive.
How's less than $6 a month sound?
$6 a month. Even I can afford that.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Hamba, sia hamba, kukanyeni kwenko. Chronicles.
Did I tell you that we're right down the street from Good Morning America? Do you know they got that other big building down the street there? So we wanted to call this Good Night America, but they didn't let me do it. I wanted to do that. I was figuring on the pun, you know, this is a good show, but good night. You know, I figured we'd close the store that way. I was mentioning that we're a saloon city, and we are. We're a city not because of the taverns. Brooklyn's got more saloons and churches than any city in the country. And Brooklyn, unto itself, the fourth largest city, as we all know, doesn't need Manhattan, but it's kind of cool to have it. You know, this is a place of commerce. But the fact of the matter is that in this city, with the vibe which we've created, it's a saloon vibe tonight. And this is a thing that I used to do during my drinking days, except I would wind up going home alone with the daily news, you know. But this place here, you can pick up chicks when you got one of this show. You know, you got a show like this, you can pretty much have you pick them up, but then too, you wind up on the paper the next day. No, wait, in the paper. That's what I mean. And for those who still read print, I don't want to be in page 6. I don't want that. Thank you very much. I want to have a better reputation. We're going to be on with Chuck Scarborough this week too. I think live at 5. I think we're on with that one. And I want to mention that he's a good guy, and I'm going to be privileged to be interviewed by him. So I'm looking forward to that. And you know, I want to bring some people out now, again, who are famous and well-crafted, and they're exceptional. If you don't know who they are, then you got to listen and pay attention to this stuff and watch. And then the next time you see him, you'll say, oh yeah, I remember this great guy named Jay Leonhart, who is a wonderful bass player. He traveled with Mel Torme for one thing, and he's another family guy. So let's bring out Jay Leonhart. Is he going to carry that big bass with him? Come on, Jay. Come on here. And Pat Addiss is with him also. Pat is a producer extraordinaire from Broadway. Here's Pat now. Pat is first. That's not Jay. Although Pat could be a girl's name or a boy's name, and Jay could be a girl's name or a boy's name. But she's definitely a lady. All right, Patricia.
How are you?
Good to have you. Have a seat. Jay, how are you?
Joey.
Hello, Jay.
This is very exciting.
Yeah, for me it is, because I don't have to pay to see you.
Sideways my beat, and
I
it's
know.
all out there.
That is exciting, Joe, the whole concept.
Well, Jay Leonhart is going to play one of his great songs, which he makes up. Tonight, I don't know if you made one up, because you are constantly forgetting the lyrics to songs you wrote.
How can you say that?
You've done it often.
Yes, well, I have.
Not on stage. I mean, you've done it on my show.
I've done it on your show
Yeah.
because I always choose to do something brand new that I don't really know.
Yeah,
or
thank
that I
you.
haven't done for 121 years. But tonight,
Leonard Bernstein.
I am ready.
Mel Torme, which one are you doing?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. But, I mean, I know the repertoire.
I don't remember which one I'm going to
But see, I know it so well. I know the lyrics.
I know you do.
I'm going to be moving my lips along with.
If I forget them, could you tell them to me, please?
No.
Oh.
No, you met Pat. Pat is
did.
one of my
Yes,
good
yes.
friends.
We've been...
Now, where I left off with Patricia Addiss here is Pat is a wonderful producer. She's got a great history of having hit shows in New York on Broadway, and she's a lady who takes chances. This is one of the bravest people around. And where I left off with her, this is amazing. We were at the going away party for Promises, Promises. The show had to close because of prior commitments for both performers. Sean and Kristen were both booked for something else, right? Am I correct?
Yes, oh yes, very correct, very
at
sad.
The going away party, which is one of the few parties I've ever attended where the investors got their money back.
That's right. Everybody got their money back, and well,
my heart.
Which is unlike our party here. You know, the investors are in the hall. Have you noticed them?
listen, the best is
Yeah, they're with the sheriff.
39 Steps, which just closed off Broadway, but can you believe it is the #1 selling show in amateur rights? And I just got a nice little check for that. And who would ever guess it? But That's a tough show to do.
And, and you're not producing that anymore. You're leasing it, right?
Well,
Just to
yes,
explain.
it's right.
Yeah, but you produced it to begin with and put it on Broadway.
Right, but you
and
get
Bridge
the
and Tunnel, wasn't that yours?
Yes, but you get the royalties from all these amateur rights. So who knows? I mean, you know, it can. If it's successful this year, there's no reason why it can't be every year from here on in.
And one of the great songs which Jay knows and can play is from Fantastics, which is your show.
Well, you know, I want you to tell everybody of your audience, there's a special thing. I don't know if you can see this. It's 20 at 20, and it's in cohorts with Restaurant Week, the next 2 weeks. You know, you can go and get special deals at restaurants. And the 20 at 20 means that 20 minutes before a performance, you can get a seat at most off-Broadway shows for $20. And that includes the Fantastics, which, can I plug, is at the Staple Theater, which is on 50th Street and Broadway. And it's the longest running musical in the world.
Well, you could open an airline with this kind of a huckster routine. You know, is that Priceline? Didn't they?
I'm a promotional whore.
Well, Priceline came up with that thing. You know, I mean, yeah, well, they fill empty seats, and then cheap trips and travel and smart travel, and they're all the same. They all work off the same inventory of what's left.
And you know, you can also get better prices if you just go directly to the airline most of the time.
Well, I don't know about that.
Because also, if you have any problems, if you're Priceline or something, it's much harder to change a ticket and all of that.
Well, the Broadway theaters now have airplane seats.
Yeah, well.
What are you guys doing?
You know, you're not right. If you don't put somebody in that seat, you never get another chance.
No, I mean the size. I have my knees in my mouth during Promises, Promises. Big theater, though. Big theater.
But some of the theaters are better. But it's like Roundabout. Those seats are pretty good. I mean.
Well, on that show, with Dan Luria, who's playing.
The importance of being earnest. I just saw.
Oh, that one. No, I was thinking about.
It is so much fun.
Circle in the Square.
Good.
I'm thinking of Circle in the Square.
No, it's really good.
So we're going to have all these people on the show here, you know.
This is a great season. Broadway is having a great season. There's 30 new shows opening up.
And mine is one of the ones that's opening up. This one here. Yeah. This is a Broadway opening, you know.
Yes, I know. I just think it's so exciting.
Where's my flowers in the dressing room?
I gave you.
Poor Joey.
You got a special Scotch tape holder of a frog.
Oh, gee, thank you.
You see? Yeah. I kissed a frog. You're my prince. What can I tell you?
There's
significance to this. Somewhere.
I hope you don't go home with warts.
No, I came with them.
No, Jay is going to sing, you know, and play. Are you ready to do that?
I am ready.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, and then we'll feature the fabulous Jay Leonhart. You'll be experiencing him for the first time, many of you, and others are going to be remembering him for his great original work, which you are famous for.
Thank you, Joe.
Pat Addiss and also Jay Leonhart. Be right back.
Steve, I can't get the files on the Sandoz case. The printers are down again.
Steve, the wireless network and all the servers are completely down on the 4th floor.
That's it. Denise, I'm done with that company. Call ASAP NetSauce. Also, tell them we need an on-site tech for some installs we got going on next week.
Dad, the printer isn't working again, and I have to hand in this report tomorrow morning.
And the internet's down again.
And we're out of toner, too.
I know just who to call.
Let ASAP NetSource be your only source for your office and home.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
cuencos. Sia hamba kukanyeni cuencos. Sia hamba kukanyeni cuencos. Sia hamba kukanyeni cuencos. Yeni cuencos. Sia hamba, hamba sia hamba. Hamba sia hamba kukanyeni cuencos. Yeni cuencos. Sia hamba, hamba sia hamba. Hamba sia hamba kukanyeni cuencos.
You've been here too long. Jay Leonhart's been here for so long that one of the shows on Broadway closed while he was waiting to go on. Pat Addison produced also Passing Strange, and you will pass strange if you don't have a living will, which is one of her great, I would say, community services.
No, but I really think that's so important. I just was involved in a funeral, and we could not find the living will, and it makes such a difference whether you want to be resuscitated or not resuscitated when you're very sick, and it's just imperative that people have a living will. I don't have one, and I'm really stupid, and I'm getting one this week because, as I say, it makes it so much easier. I mean, do you want to be kept alive if you're in coma or not kept alive? It's very important.
Yeah,
So,
well, I have a will to stay alive for the rest of the week here.
well, I sure hope so.
And here's my wonderful friend, Jay Leonhart. He is a great creative genius, and he's got a song that he's going to surprise us with. I have no idea what it is, but he's a lyricist, a writer, and a player of the bass. Here he is, Jay Leonhart.
It's just my will. No, I'm just a little joke. I'm just a little joke. If you really want to cause some problems, if you really, really want to cause some pain, simply go down to your local airport and try to put a base aboard a plane. The trouble starts when you approach the terminal. You won't find a sky cap anywhere, because once they see the giant case in which you've packed your massive base, they disappear into thin air. So by yourself, you lug it to the terminal. Let out a big sigh of relief. The ticket lady looks at you in horror. She stares at you in disbelief. She says, "You're not going to put that on an airplane. It's just too large, it's just too big, so you smile, but she doesn't think you're funny. To her, you're just another sexist pig. She gets angry, she calls her supervisor, who sees the base and goes into a swoon. And the ticket they decide on for the plane you want to ride on costs you more than a ticket to the moon. Of course, nowadays we must deal with security. They see the base, they start to drool. They want to give the base a colonoscopy. You struggle to be cool. This is not the time for getting angry. This is not the time to cause a scene. This is when you must turn into Gandhi, calm and placid and serene. Better yet, the Obi-Wan Kenobi used the Force to get him into line. Tell him, "Do not worry about the base, it will be no problem. Let the base pass through, it will be fine." If you really, really want to cause some problems, if you really, really want to cause some pain, simply go down to your local airport and try to put a base aboard a, try to put a base aboard a, try to put a base aboard a plane.
Come on.
Applause.
Wonderful. Well, I'm over here. I moved over here because I wanted to get close to you.
Step into the light.
The Way You Look Tonight is my favorite song, and you play it real well, but we don't have time tonight,
No,
so you
we'll
got to come back.
we'll do it some other time.
And I want to bring Barbara Brussell out here now, and also, you don't mind sharing the stage, do
No,
you?
I love sharing the stage with
Okay.
Barbara Brussell.
And Jon Weber is going to play. So come on, Barbara, let's get you over here, sweetheart.
With you guys?
Yeah, we got to like have a Reynolds rap.
Too fun. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, so I don't know what you're going to sing,
This
and
is
you know.
a Murray Grand song.
Okay, I'm a very bad Ed Sullivan.
Very good. You can fake it. He's got something. All right. Oh, ladies of fashion, I envy you so. center of attention wherever you go. You're so slick. What's your trick? You're so gorgeous. It's making me sick. I've got a little seamstress on the west side of town. I can't wait to look up yours. My dentist is an artist with a cap and a crown. I can't wait to look up yours. You're so chic, so unique, fantastique, so to speak. The boys go through your phone book looking for your address. One and all say that you're divine. Please tell me what you do so I can do it too. And maybe they'll look up mine. They say you have a rather fancy family tree. Bob Wah 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 once looked up yours. Your mother's gynecologist is the doctor to see, and everyone's looked up hers. You're the creme. I'm sorry, Joey. This de la creme. You're a gem, head to hem. And when I've gotten married to a very rich man and we live at the Waldorf Towers, should you need a decorator or someone to cater, we'll let you look up ours, 'cause he's a genius. Why don't you look up
Barbara, did you lose some lyrics there?
No, I didn't, but I was getting embarrassed about the lyrics.
Oh, no.
But I thought, you know, we used to get so naughty and bawdy, and I thought that would be kind of fun to do.
This is the worst instrument ever invented. The channel changer.
The channel
You
changer.
don't
Oh,
want
did I
that.
just make everyone change the channel?
We don't want that.
No, I like that naughty line, but, oh, I lost the bass player, too. Oh, there.
So Barbara Brussell and Jon Weber and also Jay
Congratulations
Leonhart.
on this TV show.
I know.
And I'm only in town for a few days.
I want to explain to everybody that this TV show has presented some of the great talent we have in the country that you maybe are not familiar with. And we try to put them all on the show because I want you to have a rich experience. You know, you're either going to do it off the set here and we're going to form community, or you're going to stand outside this window over here and you're going to stare, because most people come to New York, and when they come to New York, they do Times Square. This is a place where everybody gathers, and everyone all across the world has their eye on us on New Year's Eve. But that's not the only night that we're doing this. You know, I mean, New Year's Eve is just one night out of the year where everybody goes crazy out in Times Square here. But we go crazy here every night, and as the show is on a little longer, you know, and as the weather changes, we're going to have more people outside. And I'm going to be using a little bit of an invasion with my cameras. I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to stick them in people's faces and do the unthinkable, which is to actually be in front of a person and talk to them rather than sending someone outside. You know, most of the television hosts and the radio hosts, they don't want to do anything anymore. They want to go home and collect their money. But I still want to do some work here, and I still have you know, this is my only job. So I want to be in your face, and I'm going to do that until they stop me, all right? Thank you for being here tonight. It's been a wonderful pleasure to serve you with this great...
There are 13,000 cabs in New York City, but there's only one that pays you. Climb into the cash cab, and I'll quiz you all the way to your destination. As the meter clicks, questions get harder, and the stakes get higher. If you get stumped, you can shout out for help on the phone or off the street.
Can you come here for a second?
But be careful, because in this rig, it's 3 strikes and you're out. So what do you say?
Together. You know, I mean, after everything that happened, you know, it was a really difficult time for us. You know, so we're kind of like in shock, but we're happy at the same time that we weren't going to be alone anymore. Someone was going to be here to help us out, you know, as much as they could.
We were
going to redo the kitchen. The cabinets, besides being lime green, are not really functional. The appliances themselves, most of them are rusty. The burners, 2 of the burners don't work. So I'm an avid fan of Open House. I always watch it. And there was a particular segment of Open House to the rescue. And at the end, I heard George say, if anyone needs help, you know, send us an email and we'll see what we can do. And I sent the email, and here we are.
We called in contractor Stephen Fanuca of Stephen Fanuca Inc. to tackle this project with us. So Stephen, it's everything I've been telling you. The letter, Al, the family, and of course the kitchen.
Everything I hoped for. So what I was thinking is maybe we do something a little eclectic. Modern, yet traditional. The window's gonna stay. We're gonna keep that window as well. We're gonna remove the floor.
All right.
We're gonna remove the island, so it's all gutted. We're gonna run the cabinets all the way up to the ceiling. So we're gonna get rid of the soffit. We're gonna open this up. We're gonna add downlights to the ceiling. And then we're gonna do something with the paint that's also gonna balance this off and equalize us.
Stephen, you got a lot of great ideas, but I can't get into my head what color we're going with.
I'm looking at that fireplace over there, and I see a lot of earth tones, some natural tones. I see some ivory, I see burgundy, I see brown. But what we're gonna do is we're probably gonna take a tone from here, maybe add some umber to it, maybe antique it a little bit. We'll give him that little bit of traditional that he wants.
What about if we were just to actually get rid of the dining room table or the table entirely and just bring the island all the way out?
You know what?
Then you could have the seating, you could have the storage, and you could make it, you know, as long and narrow as you need it.
You know? And that's why you host a show. That's what we're probably gonna end up doing. Back. Doing good, George. Doing good, doing good.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fanuca. So what we're doing is we're ripping out this entire soffit and bringing the whole ceiling up. Now, what we got to be careful of is that the ceiling doesn't fall when we rip this part out because they're anchored to each other. So when are these cabinets coming?
I got a surprise to you. They're already here.
Those boxes are the cabinets?
The cabinets.
Game on. All right, so what we've done is we've installed a cleat here. This is to help make sure that my cabinets are level, and also it's kind of like a buddy. When I'm putting the cabinet up, I don't need somebody else underneath holding it up. I got these cleats in here. Very important though, that it's level. Got my gloves on, that means it's time to do some work.
Clearly, we've got one shot at this. So we're gonna get it off the truck, get it on the countertop. There's no retakes.
Well, it's only about 1,000 pounds. I mean, you don't think the guys are gonna want to stand around while we're shooting it?
Ladies and gentlemen, do not try this at home.
All right, we gotta go in flat side first. Holy smokes. Watch your feet. That is by far the heaviest.